Have we started?
Well, we're 2 minutes late, but
yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys can start without my ugly mug, I suppose.
Okay. Well, we'll just start the opening, and you can try to figure out what you got going over there, buddy. All right. Let's hit that button.
Yeah.
Dice down.
And that's it, folks. Thanks for joining us.
Recording live from the Haley Sisters Memorial Studios, straight out of lovely Elmont, Ontario, it's time for This Death Clock Has 60 Minutes, your unofficial Warmahordes news broadcast. It's 8 p.m. Wednesday night, the beers are cold, the news is fresh, and the death clock starts now.
You want to do it? You want me to do it?
I thought you were going to do it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of This Death Clock Has 60 Minutes. Tonight, we are one member absentee.
Yes.
We are missing Mr. Will Richardson.
He
which is why you're...
Where is he now?
Oh, God, I can't keep track.
He's somewhere warm where fish are. And I know that's not really
that
narrows
it down, yeah.
But it is definitely... The alcohol today is confusing me.
Yeah. It's got a spout on the end. He's in the Bahamas.
The Bahamas.
Thanks, Marbles. He's in the Bahamas catching some fish. Or they're catching him one way or the other.
Let's be brutally honest here. He never catches any fish. No. He films people catching fish.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with this window here, George.
What do you mean? That's because you've got a camera and a camera and a camera.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to fix that. Ooh,
well,
that's awesome.
Down there, you go in and you turn on the overlay. This is making great radio.
Yeah. So, anyway, we have George sitting beside me.
Mm-hmm.
And I am here chatting away, Maelstrom. And we have Zane, who is trying to figure out how to get his camera on.
I can't find the part for Skype for Windows that tells me how to actually do this.
Okay.
Well, that's because Microsoft purchased Skype and then Skype went into the shitter and it has not come back out yet. So
do you guys have a reason you don't use Discord?
Because when we started, Discord didn't have video chat. And at this point, we're too afraid to ask any questions.
Yeah.
I suppose that's fair.
It's mostly because everybody has Skype as a rule.
Yeah, that's typically the main reason because, most people have Skype. It's already installed on their damn computers.
Yeah, whether they know it or not.
Yeah. So it's super easy just to get their username and set it up. But I think we are probably going to move to Discord after the last couple episodes.
Yeah.
The new Skype has been kind of messing with our mojo a little bit.
I literally cannot find the options menu. I have the shitty settings menu instead of the full options menu, and I can't find the real one.
Try hitting the Alt key on your keyboard.
Please tell me this will actually work.
Did you get a new menu along the top?
No.
No? Okay. Sometimes that's how Microsoft loves to hide its menus. And
trying to see if there's a button I'm supposed to click.
This is amazing radio. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, why don't you turn on that JPEG right underneath there, and that'll just overlay the Skype. Oh, no, wrong JPEG. Oh, well. So video people get shafted this week.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. So what we should probably do is move into the news because we
got all kinds of news this week, don't we? Well,
am I going to get to introduce myself?
No, hell no.
Yeah, no. We're doing the news first. Yeah.
Wait, the news first?
No. We're doing the introduction first.
We should be starting again, basically.
Yeah, we pretty much should. But we're not going to because I don't want to. Zane, tell us a little bit about yourself, buddy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zane Zoller, otherwise known as Swamp Mist. Rela 6 on the YouTubes, The Trash Quarry on Discord, and Adepticorn from Adepticon, and also apparently the, as per Maelstrom, the social media evangelical.
Well, we had to bring you on for something. I met Zane.
The nepotism was kicking in really hard, and you're like, we need to make up a title. Is this what's going on?
I met Zane at the Sioux, and we had chatted quite a bit previously on Discord, and he basically threatened my family if I did not bring him on the show.
Oh, so the same reason we let you on the show.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, they have food and water. They're fine.
Excellent.
No, we've kind of skirted around the issue of social media and how it affects this game for quite a long time, but never actually done a show dedicated to the effect of it. And Zane being a Discord mod, and kind of knee deep in the whole social media aspect of War Machine anyway, I figured it was a good time to bring him on and chat about such a thing as this. So before we get going too far into that, let's start off with the news this week.
Yep.
We'll start with the easy stuff first, I guess. Caster Draft is now available to purchase through DriveThru RPG.
Yeah. Did either of you get to play Caster Draft?
I did not. No.
Neither did I.
No. Caster Draft was pretty full every time I saw people going to it. They were very much enjoying themselves. There was a lot of hooting and hollering coming from that particular section of the room, and it looked like a lot of fun. I have a deck on the way, so I'm very much looking forward to it. There was a bit of an issue with the price of getting it through DriveThru RPG.
Really?
Yeah, because apparently, it's like $15 to order the cards.
That makes sense.
And some people were kicking up a stink about that fact because it's kind of just a variant of War Machine, whatever. But they're physical cards.
Yeah.
So somebody had to be paid to design them.
Yeah, it's not like they're charging you $5 for the PDF or something.
Yes, exactly.
The reason, from what I understand, that it is being printed is because it's 80 cards.
Yeah, it's a fair amount of cards, and people don't realize DriveThru RPG also has to get their cut for printing the cards and the ink and everything else. So I mean, expecting it for pretty much nothing is kind of silly. They're a business; they want a little bit of something, a little bit of cheddar. And then I don't think there's really much else other than the Menoth CID dropping today.
Well, they've been pushing pretty hard on Monpok.
Yes, Monpok is definitely being pushed. There was an insider the other day that had a bit more information, some new model renders and stuff like that. There's a big Godzilla-looking dude.
And the alien spaceship and the rocket copter, I think, was the other thing.
Yeah, the rocket copter, yeah. I'm looking forward to some of the modding that people do with Monpok parts because they're completely 100% tournament legal to mod your War Machine figures with Monpok stuff. So I'm looking forward to that.
Is this going to mean, like, black-eyed wrestlers and stuff that suddenly have Godzilla-style parts?
I really hope so.
Because that would actually be pretty cool.
I am down. Yeah. I'm just looking, again, just the troubles that Swamp is having with Skype. Apparently, Windows for desktop is different than Skype for Windows 10.
Yeah, it's a whole big mess.
Apparently the only way for me to change my video settings is to get Skype for Windows desktop, and I don't think I can do that.
Wow. So you actually have to get a different piece of software.
And I don't think I can, because as soon as I go to the download page, it tells me I already have Skype through the App Store, and it's this Skype, which doesn't have the same options menu, and doesn't actually let me go in and change my camera settings.
Screw it.
Yeah.
Screw it. Don't worry about it, man. We'll just keep going.
No one's going to get to see my face.
That's all right.
I'm sorry for that.
We'll put up a picture later.
Just have Panda.
Just have Panda. Peter in the chat brought up one other interesting thing that came up in the dev talk today, which is that after the Menoth CD, they had planned they had planned to take a fairly large break, probably to get ready for lock and load and stuff.
Yeah, you've got Gen Con in there, lock and load in there.
Yeah, between Menoth and the Circle CIDs, there was supposed to be a fairly large break. Instead, they're bringing in Rhett, not for a full-blown like new models CID, but they're bringing in all the themes and a bunch of older models to get tweaked a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is a Scorn tuning light.
So if I might take a hot take,
go for it.
I expect the NIS to leave Defenders of Ios and end up in either their own theme or just another theme. Because I think that there's enough NIS that it doesn't really fit that they're in Defenders. They don't get any benefit from it.
Okay.
And I think that it's weird that like half of that faction's in Defenders. Like it's the reverse Irregulars problem.
Yes.
Where instead of Irregulars, it's, you just get to play out of theme with stuff. It's like 90% of the stuff you want is in this one theme, but it only really benefits like 10% of it.
Yeah.
And so I think that Rhett would benefit from the NIS stuff going in its own theme.
Right. That would be interesting.
Yeah, have a sort of more NIS-centric.
And possibly even make it Vire stuff only if you wanted to, just say, here's your Virejack theme, right?
Yeah.
Make it the Vire stuff and NIS theme.
Right.
But I think that this also probably tells us we're not going to see a Rhett release cycle for a while.
No, I think, to be brutally honest, I think like Convergence, the next time Rhett gets love is Christmas.
Yeah, one of the Christmas models.
I would presume it's going to be a Christmas release. Also, speaking of, I actually don't think Convergence is going to get a Christmas model this year.
Oh, you don't?
I think they're going to stick to 12 factions, and I think Locke was Cox's cast
that makes
release
sense.
for this year.
Well,
and so the 12th faction is going to be Grimkin, and COC and Crucible Guard won't see a Christmas model.
That's interesting because last year they were saying that next year it might have to be the 13th.
Right, yeah, they did kind of mention that.
Yeah, so...
That's possible.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's Convergence.
It was just a call I made. Is like I would not be surprised to see one limited faction and the 12 main factions or the 11 main factions get a release every CID cycle.
Yeah.
Or not CID, Christmas cycle.
cycle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So moving along, let's Zane, you're a Menoth player.
I guess I should have said this. I play Menoth and Legion.
Yep.
A little bit less Legion, lots of Menoth.
Yep.
Wow, a Menoth player in the wild.
I know, right?
I don't think
there are a few here and there.
I don't think we have any in Ottawa.
So I've been trying to convince Matt McWhorter to go back after once he's done with
the WTC.
Once he's out of Crick's lock for WTC, I think that having someone like him playing Menoth would be a huge deal.
Yeah. Because if there's one thing Matt's good at, it's finding where things are busted.
Yep. And that will get into our topic of how social media influences the game.
Yep. So, Zane, do you want to kind of do a quick take on the Menoth CID stuff? Do you have the PDF?
I'm just trying to find the PDF in my mountain of folders.
Jesus. You put that shit on the desktop, man. God.
No, so I downloaded it on my laptop because I have my school laptop and everything's on the cloud. So I'm accessing my school laptop's library from my home thing.
Okay. Well, we'll just get we'll get going.
So do we want to look at the new models first, or are we going to go through the?
May I do the new caster?
Sure.
Because I think that she is.
I was going to give you pretty much all of it anyway, because me nor George really are Menoth players or really understand that much about Menoth.
Okay. Sirenia is interesting. I also, as a Legion player, so I want to get into it a little bit. So High Exemplar Sirenia is the new Protectorate Exemplar Warcaster. She's got a sword and a banner, which is really cool.
Yep.
She looks awesome from the concept art.
Yeah, her
she's
concept
apparently
art is really cool.
She's also of Idrian descent, which means we get another dark-skinned Protectorate caster, which is actually something I really like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just like this. Like I actually like that the Protectorate in my head is like one half like the dark-skinned Indrian type people.
Yep.
And the other half is just super white like Lealese descents.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I pictured it as well.
So I'm liking that we're getting to see a little bit more of that.
Yep.
So her feat. Well, I guess I'm just going to go down the list.
Yeah, go for it.
While in Sirenia's control range, friendly faction models gain +2 defense. Okay. When one or more friendly faction models are destroyed or removed from play by an enemy attack while in Sarenia's control range at any time except while advancing, immediately after the attack was resolved, one friendly exemplar model in Sarenia's control range can advance up to 3 inches. A model can only move once per turn because of this, and it lasts 1 round. Not a bad feat. The second half is very specific to exemplars, and I actually think that even though that and the battle plans are really exemplar specific, she probably has a place in Guardians of the Temple, which we'll get into a bit later. But yeah, so battle plans. She can obviously use 1 battle plan per turn, like all battle plans. Desperate Mission, range 5, target friendly living exemplar model. If it is in range, it gains Last Word. And for those unindoctrinated, Last Word is when a model with Last Word is disabled by an enemy attack at any time except while advancing. It can immediately advance up to 3 inches. It can make 1 basic melee attack. It cannot be targeted by 3 strikes during this movement.
Yeah, it's the non-spell version of Last Stand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyone know of a... Wait, no. Isn't Last Stand the one where you gain boosted attack and damage rolls, but you die at the end of your activation if you make an attack?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not that at all. This is not even close to that. This is when you get disabled, you can make a 3-inch advance and make an attack.
Oh, when you die, you can go.
Yeah.
Ahead, as opposed to getting your attacks first and then dying.
Yeah, getting a super attack and then dying. No, this for anyone who knows the Nis Fighty Dude attachment or solo, whatever he is, the one where when he dies he makes a 3-inch advance, attacks, and then toughs, and if he toughs he can do it again.
Nail? Narn?
Nail?
No, it's not Narn. It's another one.
Nail? Oh,
no, it's it's the Nis one. He came out in their last release cycle.
So then she's got Heroic Call.
Yep. So I did want to... The reason I'm hyping up Desperate Mission is for those of you who played against Knights Exemplar Seneschals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about a Knights Exemplar Seneschal with Last Word. So when you kill it, it walks 3 inches, if it has no knockdown, because otherwise its ability knocks it down before this happens. It walks 3 inches and makes a POW 13 Weapon Master attack.
Yeah.
And then is standing there, and then if you hurt something, it heals, and if you kill it again, it gets to Last Word again.
They just... didn't you guys just get a model that does that?
No.
No, that stops the knockdown.
Yeah, so we already did.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
High Exemplar Gravis.
Yes.
He just got better. Slightly. I think he's a drop with her because of Desperate Mission. And also because Heroic Call. Target friendly living exemplar model unit, it gains tough. So
Tough, no knockdown, good.
Yep.
Old tough, real good.
Yep. And then Special Orders. Target friendly living exemplar model unit. If it is in range, it gains reposition 3. We'll talk about later. Incinerators just got a unit attachment with Shield Wall, so this is a big deal for them, and pretty much will never come up outside of them.
So, does Zombify stop all of these orders from happening? Not that I know why you would be doing that, but I was
you
just
could
wondering why
zombify
it's all living.
You could zombify my Knight Exemplar Seneschal to stop me from casting Desperate Missions on him?
Like, I mean, it's a thing you could do.
You could technically do that.
I don't know
she has
why.
She has Righteous Vengeance, so she gets a vengeance thing when a friendly warrior model is destroyed near her. She has a Relic Blade, so she's just a POW 11 Weapon Master.
Yep.
Like, it's good. And then her spell list. Dash.
Dash is awesome.
Dash and Protectorate.
Yeah.
Hex Blast. This is pretty good nuke.
Hex Blast is great.
Inviolable Resolve. Again, on the new Incinerators.
Positive charge.
Positive charge.
Positive charge.
Positive charge.
That's one of my favorite spells on Lucant.
Yeah,
They gave us POW 15 Knights Exemplar.
Yeah, it seems like a thing.
Ah.
So yeah, she's also got a rock wall, which stacks nicely with that feat.
Yep.
Yep. And I love it because it makes so much sense for Protectorate to have a wall.
It really does. Yeah.
In fact, wouldn't the Order of the Wall be like all over that?
Yeah. It's so weird that we don't... I really want to see an Order of the Wall caster that also has Rock Wall, just for thematic reasons.
Yeah.
All right.
But-
So did you get that? Did you get your PDF up there? Did you, buddy?
I've been reading off it.
Okay, I figured. So do you want to start? Let's just go through real quick, starting at the top of the PDF, maybe.
Yeah, and then just... I just wanted to talk about Serenia, because I think she's really interesting, and she's in my, like... So she is like Animag, where she's just a toolbox of I do everything for the army.
Yeah.
Just figure out how to do it, right?
Yeah.
Unlike Animag, she can't do everything at once as easily, and her feat is a lot weaker. But,
yeah, she just.
Well, she's more focused. She's like Sorsha 3.
Yeah.
She's focused on that
What she
list
does, yeah.
specifically.
So I think that she is a little bit more in between. I think that she is like Animag, that she has this like list of stuff she does, and she does like basically everything. Like she ticks all the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
But she's more like Sorsha 3 in that she isn't really able to do it all at once.
Right.
So I just really like where she is. I think she's pretty much in a perfect spot.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of changes coming to her over the next 2.5 weeks. She seems pretty right bang on, really, as far as power level goes.
Yeah. Well, I think also PP's pretty happy with her, so
Yeah.
they'll be resistant to change unless something is broken.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, for sure.
So top of the PDF is something they're not resistant to change on.
Yep.
Grand Exemplar Krios.
Mm-hmm.
He barely changed. He's got 1 extra command, and he's Mat 8 now.
That's pretty
The
good.
reason he barely changed is because they don't know what they want to do with him. And they don't... Well, they kind of do. They talked about it apparently in the dev talk, which I actually missed. I was on campus at the time.
Okay.
But apparently they talked about the fact they want him to be incredibly aggressive and just really out-buffing the offensive output of his army.
Upping his mat and his command should help that then.
Yeah, I think that they need to take it a step further. I think Sacrosanct is a bad spell. Like it's just bad, and they need to. He needs more He needs more offensive buffs. Literally drop everything on his card, but Imperishable Conviction and Castigate, and figure out what you need to do from there.
Yeah.
Oh, and his feet. Sorry, not
him
Imperishable
the
Conviction.
Give him the Denny 2 treatment.
His feet.
Just dump
Yeah,
everything.
kind of do a Demi 2 treatment. Like, okay, here's what we want him to do.
Yeah.
He has like 2 things on his card, his feet and Castigate, that help him do this.
Right.
Throw out everything else and build him back up to be that.
Okay. Harbinger of Menoth.
Harbinger, she's command 12, and it's really dumb.
Yeah, I
Not
can't see that change. I can't see that sticking around too long.
12?
I
A lot
think
of people
that
would say she was fine at 20.
her feet. Her feet is fine at 12.
Yes.
The issue is Awe and Martyrdom at 12.
Yeah.
The extra
huge,
board range that gives her in Faithful Masses is huge.
Yeah.
So I expect them to just change her feet to 12 inches and put her back down to command 10.
Yeah, I can see that. Her Warjack points went up to 28.
28, yeah.
Yeah.
They want her to be
She was actually like bang on at 24, so I don't think her lists are going to change over much.
Probably not.
But
the Devout.
Spell Barrier changed to work on the juniors, which was done 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
or whenever the junior CID was.
Yeah.
The Fire of Salvation got bumped up, Matt.
I'm really hoping he picks up the Exemplar tag. It makes sense in context, and it would let us take him in theme with not Krios, which would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Knight's Exemplar, I don't see anything on there that's green.
Knight's Exemplar didn't change. I don't expect them to.
Exemplar Errants gained Pathfinder.
Yeah, they got it back.
They got it back after
Fine. So
Mark II.
it went from not having it to being on Gauge to now being on the unit base.
Yeah.
And I still think they are worse than Adrian's, even in their own theme.
Well, Adrian's are really good.
Yeah.
I mean, people are playing like Trenchers over Adrian's and Mercs.
Yeah.
So, like, my thought process is, if Adrian's are worse than Trenchers, and Errants are worse than Adrian's in their own theme,
I just remember playing against Aubin, who had I don't know what he was using, but he had Hand of Fate on Idrian's along with Prey, and it was just.
I did that at the Sioux. Oh my god, I love Pyroclane with Adrian's. It's so good.
My god!
And then they come back.
Just made me hate life.
And then they mostly die, and then they come back.
Yeah, that was real fun.
So I did it at the Sioux. I got them behind a forest. It was it was round 2 of Masters, and we were on standoff.
Okay.
Yeah, standoff. And so the left hand zone to me had a big forest in the middle, and so they just went all around it and just in and out all game. Yeah. I probably killed. Let's see, so I killed most of a unit of halberdiers, Merc lady with 2 crossbows,
Iris
1, Thane Knight, like all of a unit of archers, 1 or 2 mechanics, a ghost sniper. They swapped Prey like 6 times that game. It was great. So, they are... And so, back on topic. Errants.
Yes.
Their UA has Pathfinder now.
Yay. And Purity
no longer removes your own upkeeps.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. That's really...
And Assault went to Quick Work.
Yeah. How do you feel about that change?
I actually don't like it.
No?
I preferred Assault because
Really?
it gave them a range increase, and it gave them slightly more damage against like lights, which is the target they're like best at.
Yep.
I actually think the UA is less likely to be taken with this set of rules than it was before.
Okay.
And the only reason it wouldn't be is because Purity doesn't strip your own upkeeps anymore.
Okay. Moving along to Bastions, they had a point decrease, I believe. Yeah.
They swear that Bastions are useful somehow.
Incinerators also.
So they just keep dropping their points until they're 1-2
So,
per unit.
Pagani was talking about it on the Discord. He was like, there is a point at which you will want to play Bastions just with cost. And I think it might be the same cost as Black Ogre and Boarding Party.
Yeah.
7-11?
Yeah. 8-13.
They're currently 8-13.
They're 8-13
Currently
right now.
Do you think 7-11 is where you play them?
I think 7-11
I think 7-11 is where I would play them.
Yeah.
They're still speed 4. They're still 11-16.
Yeah.
They still don't hit that hard. If they're dirt cheap and I can just fill points with them, I'll probably play them.
Yeah.
And I'm tempted to test them with Vindictus right now, but like just looking at it, it's like I don't know why you're not paying the points to get like 1 more point gives you Knights Exemplar with UA.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're only looking at 5 Bastions.
Yep.
6 with the Seneschal.
Yeah, and the Seneschal is over that, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not counting the Seneschal in those. Now, grant you, when we get to the Seneschal, who's not next. He's farther down. He does have a rule that makes Bastions interesting, and I think that's why them being dirt cheap is good. But
next we got the Incinerators. They again dropped a point.
Yep. The big thing for Incinerators is they picked up a UA, so I think we have to reevaluate when we get to him.
Right. Avengers
did not change.
Did not change.
In fact, they kind of said that you're going to really have to work for them to change.
Yeah.
If we can get even like a point off them, I'll be happy with Avengers.
My favorite thing was, don't even ask about the Lance roll. We're not changing the Lance roll.
Pagani came on the Discord and was just like, guys, stop making fun of the Lance roll. It's not leaving.
Deal with it.
Yep.
Seneschal.
I just think they should give it to Signar. Let's make it equal.
Yep. Quick Work and Pathfinder again on the Seneschal.
Seneschal changed to fit.
Yep.
Fit with the others.
Yep. Makes sense.
Exemplar Seneschal is Command 10 now?
Yes. Command 10.
So it's even harder to kill him and not proc his abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, as someone who's played a lot of Inhuman Resolve with Sophia, it's real good on a shield guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of, he's not next, but there is a model that is like that in here.
Next, we do have the Adjudicator.
Yep.
The big boy. His points went down to 35.
And that reliquary.
Oh, reliquary. Oh, my God.
Signs of importance now.
Signs of importance on the Adjudicator.
And it stacks with signs of importance.
Oh, yes. It stacks.
And his flamethrowers went to spray 10 because that makes sense. They're big, colossal flamethrowers, not the flamethrower we put on Repenters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always kind of confused why they were so short.
So it looks like we've been through a couple of these CIDs now where Colossals are getting pulled in.
Yeah, everything was too expensive.
And they're getting their points lowered and they're getting buffed a little bit.
Yeah.
So I actually don't
I look
think
forward to the Prime Action buff.
I don't think the Adjudicator's good enough yet.
Really?
I actually still think his main guns are too weak.
Even
the range
with
14
extra damage.
So the issue is they're still Route 1. And Secondary Blast eats time and is super random, right? You don't have any control over it.
Yeah.
And so while there are anytime your 35-point Colossal does nothing but clip 2 infantry models this entire activation and hits them with a POW 9 signs importance, you're usually not battling him, mind you. But let's assume you are, so it's POW 9 signs importance.
Yeah.
It's not great. I think that, and they said they want him to be more melee focused. If so, he needs to get better at melee. Because right now, I'm still playing a Crusader, a Redeemer, and 24 other points over Adjudicator.
Well, it'll be interesting to see then what happens in the CID the next.
To me, Mat 8
weeks.
P plus S 23 sounds good.
25 with battle.
Okay, so Mat 8 25 punch. You're gonna have to work really hard to convince me that's a bad stat line for a melee.
So the issue is
So is
that
it the ranged issue?
we get a 10-point Mat 8 POW 22 in that same theme.
Okay. So something else has to be nerfed. Because that's
I
wrong.
expected Crusaders to go 11 in this packet. I'm surprised there were no nerfs. But I think Menoth does not need melee punch. Menoth is in that Trolls and Scorn bracket where our melee stuff, especially in the battle group, hits really hard.
Yeah.
Well,
we need good guns, and if the Adjudicator isn't bringing good guns, it's not going to see the table.
That's why you're getting the
well, if you're comparing to Trolls, you're not going to get good guns.
Yeah. So, well, the troll stuff is also faster, right? It has longer threats, and also don't the Mountain King and the Glacier King both have good guns?
Sure, when you're paying for them, yes.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
But hey, here's the Bastion Seneschal.
Yep.
So his change is he went down to 5 points. And he lost what I thought was already a really cool drive. It used to be ignores cripple systems and can't be targeted by enemy spells.
Yeah.
And now it's, while in this model's command range, a Warjack under its control gains flank Bastion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really good.
So that's really cool. I still don't know if it's enough to get Bastions on the table because of the cost of putting a Jack on him.
I've always liked the Bastions healing with the Seneschal as well. It feels like a good way to keep them on the table because basically they gain 5 hit points a turn.
Yeah. It's hard because their stats make it really easy to pile damage into them. Mm-hmm. I think that we're getting to the point where I would like to test them on the table and see if instead of getting cheaper, they could just pick up a rule. But I think that this is an interaction that could convince me to play a unit of Bastions just to get a flanking Sanctifier, right?
Yeah.
Because we have a really good Jack to Marshal. He cuts into our free points because Himbo Squire is over 15, but...
Okay, let's get moving along because we're way over time.
Yeah. Purifier's Ashen Veil. Moving on.
It's pretty good. Yep.
He's going to see play with the new caster and no one else.
Yeah.
Officer didn't change. Hand of Silence. Oh my god. How do I speed through this? He's a He's a Reclaimer combat solo on a horse.
Yep.
He has a POW 12 Spray 8 with Assault, and a Reach PS14 with Continuous Fire and Magical.
And Direct Souls.
And Direct Spirits.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the game. So here's the big thing. Normal Reclaimers have like a 3-inch collect or 5-inch collect range on their souls. He makes them a 10-inch, 20-inch.
Yeah. Like, he just goes, picks them up, and says, you, over there, you get those souls.
Yeah. So I thought when reading this packet through the first time it didn't work like that, and someone posted a rules forum answer that said, yes, this works like this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what...
Very exciting.
That's what it does in Scorn.
Yep.
With Zoltan.
Yeah, and then he also has Soul Powered, Strength of Death, and Grave Resonance, which is wrong on the sheet. It can spend a soul at any time to give a Warjack within 5 a focus point.
Oh, they did clear that up. It's not...
Yep, it is
give it to
a misprint here. Oh my god, if it was everybody, it'd be so great.
So good.
Incinerator Officer, Mini Feat, Dispel, Shield Wall, Order, and Tactics Takedown.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Tactics
doesn't go away?
Nope.
Yep. I think that the big thing, Takedown is really important in Mercs.
Yeah.
Shield Wall is really good for both. And Litany of Fire is good in Mercs. We didn't need it in Menoth. The theme already gives Blessed to Warjacks and has a couple Blessed pieces. Mm. But we like having a sticky, like, basically Shock Trooper unit that does more damage, so I'm going to take it.
Yep.
Exemplar Warder.
Yeah.
So
he's a protector.
Well, he's
a protectorist.
He's literally the Kador dog with shield guard.
Yeah. No. He's the Ret one.
Oh, yeah.
Who has but instead of getting +4 arm while near his Warcaster, he has a shield with the shield icon, and he has Inhuman Resolve.
Yeah.
So he's a shield guard for your caster that when he gets knocked down, gets back up.
Yep. Pretty good.
Seemed good. Selenia already did. Gade has Desperate Pace now. Oh my god, it's so good.
Desperate Pace and Dash seem like they would go well together.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're getting less slow. It's great. And Shrine of the Lawgiver.
This is the big church.
Yep.
Not
this church is this church appears to be a good couple of inches taller than the Colossals.
Yeah, it feels like it's double colossal height or something like that.
No, they actually did the scale. I think it's like a third extra.
Wow.
It's huge.
Yeah. So somebody, I actually saw an image. Somebody took the scale of the base size used in the concept art and matched it with a picture of the Judicator, and it's almost twice as high.
Is it? I thought it was a little bit less than that, but yeah, it's huge.
Close.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's freaking gigantic. I really can't see them selling something that big. I feel like the scale is probably going to change a little.
Well,
it's going to cost $300.
Well, it depends on if it's hollow.
If it's hollow, we're going to be fine.
Yeah,
but also, if it's hollow, it's going to fall over.
Yeah.
So much. So, 28 damage boxes, huge base.
Yep.
Rat 6, Arm 20, Command 10.
Yep.
It's a construct. It has forward deployment, which got buffed to 8 inches, which is a thing for Signar.
Yeah.
It has Soul Taker Gatekeeper, so it can collect up to 3 souls from living faction models destroyed in its command range. It does not specify enemy attack or anything, so you can kill your own models. And its abilities are Path of Arcane, range command, give a model Ghostly.
That's right.
Really good in Protectorate. We love Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Also, note this is in every theme and counts for free points in Guardians of the Temple and I think Exemplar theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strength of Death, it can boost, which we'll get to its gun. And Vault of the Faithful, which lets it, during your maintenance phase, you can remove up to 3 soul tokens from this model to return 1 destroyed small or medium-based friendly faction grunt to play for each token removed. They come back with 1 unmarked damage box. completely in its command range information, and completely within 3 inches of another model in their unit, and they must forfeit their combat actions.
So dead exemplars become bastions that immediately get a health because they're near the seneschal, so they come back at 2 health.
Yeah.
You trade up.
Yeah.
Or
Small bases
you
for
bring,
mediums.
or you bring back, or you turn bastions into exemplars because exemplars are better, or you turn them into incinerators who are shield walling and are like arm 23.
Yeah.
The only thing you can't do is make Vengers.
Yeah.
So it has True Sight too, which is really neat.
Yeah.
And then its gun is called Divine Wrath. Range 14, rate of fire 1 plus reload, POW 14, magical, rear attack, reload that it spends a soul for, Jaws of Arcane. If this attack boxes its original target, you can make a Spray 6 attack using the boxed model as the attack's point of origin. Spray 6 targets models in the battle's back arc, can target models in the boxed model's back arc. Models hit suffer a POW 14 magical damage roll. Models boxed as a result of an attack with this weapon are removed from play.
That's so gross.
It's literally Crevasse.
Yeah.
So it starts 18 inches up the board.
14.
18 or 17. No. It starts
If you're second player, it's plus 8 inches on your 10-inch
18.
setup.
So in Exemplar theme, it's 20 because it has +2 deployment.
Oh,
Holy
okay.
shit.
So it's 20. And then it's a range 14 gun, so that's 34 inches across the board.
Yeah.
And then you hit, if you manage to
32.
snag something, or 32 inches across the board, you snag something up front, and then you get an extra 6 inches off that.
Yeah. So if it's a medium
38
base,
inches. So if they advance deployed anything, it dead.
it's dead.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
This actually just makes it so we never play the battle engine.
Yeah.
It's 4 points
Yeah,
cheaper.
Why would you?
Because
It's
can
4
move.
points cheaper.
Yeah,
The
I
gun
guess.
is better. It already deploys where we need the battle engine to go,
Yeah.
and its support abilities are better.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really good.
Yep. Gravis is 8 points in Command 10.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens next week, I guess, when they update the CID.
Yeah, to see which bits were broken.
Yeah. So moving along to the round table.
Mm-hmm.
We're running a little late. But
Yeah,
that's
sorry,
okay.
guys.
Oh, it's all good. Social media and War Machine.
Yes. It's bad. Everybody log off. Everybody log off of Facebook. Go home.
Yeah.
No, I do not disagree with that. So I saw, I don't know, there's a Q&A section later, but I know one of the Q&A questions was a little bit in this topic, and I think it's a good jumping off point.
Yep, for sure. Was that Brian's question?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
I closed my Yahoo, so I got to pull it back up.
Ratio of War Machine
Wow.
to social media.
It's the only guy left who uses Yahoo.
Yes, I mean, I guess this question that Brian asked addresses a lot of points that we would be discussing anyway. So Brian asked a question on the Ottawa Gatineau War Machine Club Facebook page. Lately, my ratio of War Machine to social media has been in flux. I broke my hand a little while ago, and that put me out of commission to actually play War Machine for about 6 weeks. And I noticed that being exposed to the War Machine internet, but not actually playing, basically killed my motivation towards the game, because I had all the salt of War Machine and completely forgot about the fun of actually playing the game, coupled with some extremely negative reactions I've seen online lately, as well as some of my own social anxieties. It's really started to chip away at my enjoyment of the game and my motivation to bus halfway across town to the local game store. I know it sounds kind of silly, but it's hard to take a break from social media cold turkey, even when it's probably good for you. Any advice?
So I want to chime in here. George's theory of War Machine and social media.
Yep.
Your enjoyment of War Machine is directly proportional to the number of times you play the game.
100%.
Yep.
And everything else has an effect on that number. If you do X number of things that make you salty, it's going to push it one way or another.
Right.
But I think there is a direct correlation between actually playing the game, not just talking about it, but actually playing the game.
Yeah.
And how much fun you're having.
Yeah. Oh, I agree 100%.
1000%.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting here is I think that in the situation that Brian describes, I actually think that quitting the Facebook groups cold turkey is a good idea.
Yeah. I don't disagree, for sure.
I think, like, and even, like, as the guy who runs the Lorma Hordes, don't go on Lorma Hordes either.
No.
It's going to be equally a salt pit for you. What I think, I have found that the Discord is probably the
least
we
horrible.
get salty at times, but it's definitely, like,
if you stay in the general chat, you're probably fine.
Yeah, like, you stay in the faction chats. But even, like, general, when it gets salty... and I was listening to Battle Driven because, for those who don't know, I'm in Dan Schwanke's meta. So I listen to Battle Driven because...
Yep.
Yeah, it's your local guys.
Yep.
Yeah. And so...
And they're a good podcast. Like, I listen to them as well.
I actually posted a social media question to them because I wanted their opinion. And they had basically said, like, the Discord is really good because discussion moves by so fast.
Yeah.
That it doesn't sit there and fester.
Yeah, like the salt doesn't have time to build up.
Yeah.
Because 15 minutes after a conversation starts, 3 more have started.
Yeah.
And there's probably some new meme that popped up, which, by the way, is one of the reasons I really like that we implemented the post a meme to get posting rates on the Discord. It brightens my day every time someone posts a new meme or a new picture of a trash panda. It just makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I've really been enjoying the Discord. Personally?
Yeah, Discord is probably, as far as salt level goes, it's and just strict enjoyment of actually chatting with people. I think it's probably my favorite thing that I've been on. The faction channels on Facebook get salty pretty quick. And there's, I don't know, people just seem to be salty on Facebook in general. I don't know what it is.
So let's do a quick sort of ranking here.
Yeah.
We're going to say that let's go from most toxic to least toxic.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So what do you think of the privateer press forums?
They still exist?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that even?
I think
you're voting for irrelevant.
I have to rank them least toxic because they don't exist.
Because they don't exist anymore. Okay. So next, Lorma Hordes. I know we might have some bias here.
Lorma Hordes, I generally steer clear of. It's just I don't find it. I generally only went on the faction page anyway, and it wasn't active enough for me.
Okay, so just lack of information?
Yep.
I will say that it's probably, depending on the faction, slightly more or slightly less salty than the old PP forums.
Right.
Okay.
If you frequented the old PP forums and you enjoyed the experience, Lorma Hordes is probably going to be enjoyable.
Okay.
Just like with Discord, don't go to general. I think just general is anytime you put every faction together, some cancer is going to erupt.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
As always, stay out of B. So,
Facebook faction groups.
Do you think they are the most saltiest?
I don't. Unless there's a forum I don't know of that is like just a salt pool.
The War Machine General Facebook page is a cesspool of
there's
salt.
A general page?
Oh, there is.
Oh,
Machine
yeah.
General Facebook page.
I've never been on it.
Stay the hell out of there.
I only ever go to the faction.
You're too. My sweet summer child. Stay the hell out of there.
Don't go.
Yeah, no, I actually left that group fairly quickly. It was just,
I think you rejoined just to post about this.
Yeah, I pretty much did because it was a general issue. Yeah, the faction groups are definitely better than general ones. But even the ones on Facebook can get salty from time to time. And about silly things like pricing or just things that don't really matter at all.
Oh my god, when the pricing for the... I will probably, like, once they actually put up the shrine for pre-order, I'm just going to leave the Protectorate Facebook group for like 3 days.
Probably a good idea.
because that thing's going to cost $150.
Yep.
And while I understand, like, I sympathize, I think that the fact that there isn't a better solution to ship that internationally,
Yeah.
like, I get that, and I think it's a blunder on PP's part not to do that.
Yeah.
I think that complaining about the cost of the model is silly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so your local group's Facebook page. As opposed to the
We
faction
literally only use it to schedule games with people that aren't me, Schwanky, and the one other regular.
Right.
So, and like post about events going on in the area.
Yeah, the Ottawa one is pretty much the same kind of deal.
Yeah.
There's some news that gets posted, but there's no... I think it's different when everybody kind of knows each other.
Yes.
You're less likely to get salty and call another person a dick.
When you might have to see that person on game night.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
It's
I
gets a little
think
bit more
also just
interesting.
a lot of us just talk the game in private messages and
Yes.
at game night,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
We
Peter-
don't...
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
find that we don't use the Facebook, the local groups, as a discussion place very
Yeah.
often.
Peter Soretti also brought up a point in the chat that when a faction is undergoing a CID, stay the hell away from their Facebook page.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you don't play that faction. Just don't.
I don't know if you guys saw the massive thread about the Exemplar CID on Longmore Hordes.
No, I steer clear.
It's been going for months, and the more recent stuff has actually been cancer.
Yeah.
I am sorry. I'm giving it a place to speak because I asked the people who were combing it through for memes, hey, if you see anything that's actually breaking the rules, tell me.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it's fine. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just idiots.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
So now Discord.
The least salty, it definitely gets heated at times, and there's some people that can get real salty, but the best example I can give for how good the Discord is the fact that they just got together and did a Legion podcast, and the first episode just went up today.
That's actually kind of awesome
Yeah.
to have that type of community springing up.
Yep.
And actually, both of the guys who were on the podcast today and are like the hosts were at the Sioux.
Yep.
Shout out to Wolf and
Ron
Ron Lord, who's in the chat.
Yep.
Oh, hey.
I actually listened to it today, and now I'm like all in on Legion again. I can't.
Yeah, you sent me a message.
God
You're
damn
like, I have a list I don't hate.
Yeah.
I might have to play this.
For the first time in like 2 years, I built a Legion list I
I've
don't
got
hate.
Friday off.
Yeah.
If you want a game,
That sounds pretty good,
we
actually.
could even stream it.
Ooh.
I got one of the other guys on the Discord. I actually bought a throne from, so I've got a throne sitting in pieces in my
Nice.
dining room,
Yep.
just like waiting for me to like want to play it.
Right on.
I'm gonna be honest, like after the Exemplar CID, I'm probably gonna have to take. I'm really gonna play like Legion, and I honestly picked up some 40k stuff because I just need a game that I can turn my brain off on a Saturday when there's no tournaments going on.
Yeah.
Because my War Machine game night isn't Saturday, and trying to get people to play War Machine on Saturdays around here is really difficult.
Yeah.
So, if you are, with the salty levels that we have allocated here, if you want to pare back your social media, is it Discord? Is like that the place you go for War Machine? You leave everything but your local tournament, your local group, so you still know what the events are.
Yep.
But you pare it back to just your Discord.
I would honestly 100% recommend that.
Yeah, I'm down. I have the Facebook groups open for like painting stuff a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I don't really look at like at this point I'm trying to avoid and that and talking to Chandler because I'm a Menoth player and Chandler actually has like good opinions about the game.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, if I want to talk to him at this point, I just message him. I just at him in the Menoth section of the Discord.
Yeah. And you'll see it eventually.
And like, as a note, most of the who I would consider good players are on the Discord.
Yep.
We have
Mick Waters is on there frequently.
Nick Waters.
JVM
I
is
think
on there.
Tim's still in. We got I got JVM in at
Adepticon.
Adepticon. We need to get Soong. Is like the one like Soong and Mike Ireland are like the two I can think of off the top of my head that
Bubba's in
definitely
there
aren't.
too. Bubba's in there quite a bit. Or we should
On
get
purpose?
Or in there.
Like, does
yeah,
I
does he
actually
know
didn't
it's not a
if Or was in
baseball
it.
thing?
Bubba just comes in and fucking talks shit.
Yeah.
Bubba does what Bubba does.
I was going to say that's our podcast
Yeah.
usually. So I have to bring up podcasts because we is one. Do you think it's a good idea to be listening to a bunch of podcasts? Because one of the places that people develop salt is they hear about how overpowered something is or how broken it is by somebody who is really excited about a faction or really not excited about a faction, as it were. And I think there's something about hearing somebody talk about it as opposed to reading about it that causes a lot of people to trust more. Like, people routinely say that we know what we're talking about when it is blatantly obvious that we don't, just because we're literally on a podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with, I think that you need to look at specific podcasts. I think this podcast, I think Battle Driven, I think Fully Boosted are, and even then Fully Boosted can be a bit salty. I think you have to like hope that Pete is like doing a good job at keeping everyone else sane.
Pete's in the chat right now. He'll appreciate Pete's the moderator and the spreader of love.
Yep. So I think that you need to look at again, I might be biased because Battle Driven is like Schwenky's my local guy, and Riker hasn't been on in a while, which helps. Because man, although he's coming back on Saturday, so that's exciting. But like I think that because a lot of their questions are good, they get a lot of good, interesting questions. I think that that's been a place that I've been like having revelations about War Machine a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was just thinking about today, like, one of the things I need to get better at is positioning. I'm thinking of just bringing in whenever I play Amon, just having a small base proxy labeled Amon, whose job is, or like, a small base proxy labeled Caster for Amon, Hieroclaimer, and Thyra, whose job is to just let me see where I'm going to move my caster before I do it. And that's something that, like, that kind of stuff is stuff that I think only happens due to the community. And I think those kind of things, rather than, like, the nitty-gritty of models, talking about the strategies in the game and the overall, like, ideas behind the game is where things like podcasts are a positive force. I think a lot of the time when people are like, oh, here's this list that beat my shit in last night, let me complain about it, those aren't generally as useful, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, for keeping a positive media outlook. So, I'm Latour. I want to eliminate most of the negativity so that when I can go back to the game, I'm going to have fun. Is there things that you should keep in mind? Is there things that you should look at or do to try and basically keep a positive outlook on it?
I think you have to play, as we said, like you have to get games in probably more often than you listen to podcasts.
It's not a bad idea.
Right now, I'm on like a 2-to-1 ratio podcasts to games. I'm missing game night to be here. But I think that you need to, at the very least, if nothing else, you should be thinking about, like, you, at least, okay, I'm trying to, like, this gets into the topic that I still want to get into, that I hope we have enough time for. But I obviously don't think the same way other people do. I do a lot of my War Machine theory crafting as theory crafting because it's interesting to me. And so when I spend a lot of time like dojoing with myself,
Yeah.
and that helps me get excited to go in and try these lists. And I think that like I then sit down and I break out this Resnick 2 list and I try to get like as many games as possible in a short period of time. and I changed things about it. I think that's where, like, if you're going to be doing stuff that isn't part of the game, focus it on things that are constructive for once you sit down to play.
Yeah.
Focus it on thinking about your skills. Focus it on doing things like understanding, rather than complaining about other lists, understanding what they are and their counters. Like, instead of complaining about Animag, look at your faction and see, where do I have anti-healing? Where do I have anti-tough?
Yeah.
Where do I have the ability to break her numbers? Right?
For sure. So this is actually kind of a pretty good segue, and you mentioned yourself saying there's a second half to this conversation.
Better not be half, else this is going to be an hour long.
Yeah, podcast. It's a second quarter to this conversation. Zane, why don't you start with this topic? We're going to talk a little bit about people with social disabilities and how the game of War Machine, being such a social game, how the interactions work there. So Zane, why don't you talk a little bit about yourself here and kind of take the role on this one.
Mm-hmm. So, this is kind of a reintroduction. For those in the unindoctrinated, have autism, an autism spectrum disorder, and I got diagnosed with something similar at the age of 7. I'm 20, going on 21 in November now. Mm-hmm. So it's I've been dealing with it for a long time, and I think that I'm obviously, as such, kind of uniquely in a position to talk about the ways that people that are neurodivergent, which is the term I usually use, neurotypical instead of normal,
right?
And how they interact with a social game like War Machine. And I'm also a psych major, so I know some of like the bigger topic stuff.
Yep.
There's a little bit of terminology that I'll be talking about throughout, and I just want to make it aware that I'm going to try to explain my jargon as best I can. So to begin with my experiences, I just gotta say, like, this community, since we've been talking about it, is a fucking class act. Like, oh my god.
Regardless of all the salt and the...
Yeah, like, the amount of, like, going to a convention. I've been to Adepticon twice for War Machine. I went to the Sioux, and I went to Nova. And every single time, it has been amazing. I don't think you can find a game where the top players are as, like, class acts as they are in War Machine.
Yeah. I agree.
And I think that overall this is a big part of why I have been able to be a part of this community, right? Because people are just awesome and don't judge me for being a weirdo who doesn't get social situations very well, right? And also, of course, I have to specifically shout out two of my locals, Dan Schwanke and oh god, am I going to butcher his last name? Scott Finkel, right? I'm not crazy. Yeah, Scott Finkel. Good. I didn't butcher it. The two of them are amazing. Schwanke drives me around and deals with my ass in 4-hour car rides. Which, I mean, what can I say about that other than fucking thank you? The guys are totally cool with me borrowing shit. They deal with me sleeping on their couch. Like, I slept on Scott's couch the night before Nova, so Schwanke could pick us both up at like 6 a.m. And the community that I've interacted with has been super understanding and super able to kind of deal with my unique oddities.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think War Machine, because it is a social contract game and we're as a community, we're very aware of that. I have a theory, and the theory is that the best people in War Machine are the people that other people want to play against. So the higher up you go sort of in the pecking order, the better the human you get to play against. So if you go up against someone who is really, really good and you've heard of them before, tends to be a really good actual human as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's I definitely agree. And I think that overall, like, the way that, because I don't think the same is true of 40K is the weird part.
Yeah. That I attribute
George going on 40K.
No, I attribute that to their 40K's mentality of the latest thing is the best thing, which means that the type of person who is willing to put in time and effort is not rewarded the same way they are in War Machine. Whereas in 40K, the thing you need to be really good is money. In War Machine, the thing you need to be really good is skill.
I'd also propose that War Machine generally attracts the actually good players.
And the people who gave up on 40K.
Yes. And so then the people that are left to play 40K that are actually good people, I think are a lot of the time the people who are doing hobby stuff and are doing, like, the Mini Wargaming guys are also class acts. I sat down with Mini Wargaming Steve at the Irish pub down the street from Adepticon for like 2 hours and just had a really good conversation with him, between him and my dad.
So
and that's actually why I picked up 40K, by the way. I want to go up and like hang out with those guys.
When you first got into War Machine, Zane, did you, because of your specific issues or your specific
hurdles
with social situations, did you find it harder to get out that first, like, what was it like getting into the game for you?
So I have a long experience with social skills classes and kind of learning these skills, because I think what people don't understand is that when it's it's not a disability, like it's impossible. A metaphor I see talked about a lot is, or not a simile, is how it's like dyslexia. Mm-hmm. You can teach someone with dyslexia to read, you just can't do it normally.
Right.
By the way, I am an excellent example of that.
Yeah.
I am massively dyslexic.
Teaching someone with autism anything, and I have a little bit to talk about with this, with just trying to teach people, like, get people with autism into the game, but just trying to teach them anything is doable if you have the prerequisite knowledge and you're willing to learn. Mm-hmm. And I think that I also played a bit of 40K in high school with some friends, and it was very casual. And then I came to War Machine, and I had understood how to play social games a bit more. I had been playing D&D. I'm a huge nerd, so like I had just been used to these kind of situations.
Right.
And so I inserted myself, and I tried to talk to people, and I tried to build that rapport. And I'm also very cautious of my own shortcomings, or I try to be.
Okay.
I understand that I'm loud. I understand that I ramble very easily. I understand that I am not always the easiest person to talk to. There are some social cues, like, I swear to God, every time someone sneezes and I forget to say bless you, I feel like a dick. And it's the simplest thing, and it's just something that I never got into my head right. And I know I should have. Mm-hmm. And it's those kind of small things where it's like, I know, like, the social feedback loop is a big part of it.
Yeah.
And I think that sitting down with the awesome people in the War Machine community, and getting to have the rapport I have with them is why I am able to be here in the first place, is because the people around me are able to help regulate me and are also able to understand my shortcomings as much as I do.
So, as someone who has had this problem in the past, what are the things that we can do to help somebody who's sort of trying to come in to the game that, you know, we might identify not immediately as someone that has like, we might not know that they are on the autism spectrum or something, but we know that this is a person who is having problems. Is there a, not a shorthand, but is there a 5-minute tutorial that we can use to help them out?
I'll try to keep it brief. I have a couple notes. I think one of the big things is to understand the ways that people with autism tend to work. They will very often be the kind of person who does not, like, might not shake your hand, might not understand, like, basic social cues that you may give them. And more so, I think that you're going to find that they have a hard time transitioning from a failed plan to getting back in the game. I think that as experience as someone who has ASD, who works with kids with ASD, and who does a lot of research on the topic, people, and who plays war games, they're going to get tilted. Like, okay. Transitions are one of the hardest parts for people with ASD. There's a couple theories as to why, but their plan, their well-mathed out plan, they're like, okay, I'm going to use an example on the Discord from someone who is not autistic. I'm going to slam your caster toward me, get him out of the trench. I slam him into range of Cane 2 and a charging Lattimore, and you're on one camp. I got this. Double ones, double ones, double ones, double ones, triple ones.
Yep.
That kind of scenario is something that even I get tilted at, because I'm like, okay, my plans start to fall apart as soon as the dice shit on me that hard.
Well,
I think most people.
I was just going to say that is not limited.
No,
the way,
but
at all.
I think what you'll find is that they're going to have a harder time recovering from that.
Right.
They're going to have a harder time falling back to Plan B.
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of an understanding piece. I think also if you want to teach them the game, I think... Okay, so the other thing, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, and as per usual with me. The other thing that's the understanding piece is understanding that sometimes they just need a break. If they start doing some maladaptive behavior is a big one. If you see them, biting themselves, rocking...
Yep.
It may be a good time, obviously not in a tournament setting, but
right.
at game night, just pause the clock and let take a shit.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And try to help them reset that way. Obviously it takes some getting used to, but it's one of those things where you can very much just calming them down and getting them out of that space, because a lot of the time those things are simply, they don't have a better way to communicate, right? And you'll tend to find that people with autism will communicate in ways that are nonverbal and maybe weird. They may, I would not be surprised if there is someone with autism who would be amazing at war games, but would have to literally hold up the card for the models they're activating.
Yeah,
to communicate what they're doing.
Gotcha.
And so, in that, one of the ways you can teach, two of the ways that I kind of set out aside to talk about to teach children and adolescents with autism with something like wargaming is, one is using picture assisted things, right? giving them a alternate form of communication is a big part of making sure that they can effectively interact with the game. Because there's a lot of people who, even if their social skills are getting better, do not have the level of communication skill that even I have. And so, like, having things like, you know, here's a board and you just point to whatever model you're activating, right, can make it a lot easier for them. And in teaching, like, okay, I'm going to activate this guy, and you point to them, right?
Yeah.
And so, because autism a lot of the time comes with a mental pattern that isn't verbal based, it's picture based, like which is usually associated with animals. This is not wrong, and they are perfectly able to communicate. It usually just requires a different method.
Right. Yeah. Just to give a little background, I have several friends that are deep in the spectrum, one way or another, and tips that I will give you that I've done in the past when teaching games, not necessarily War Machine, but games like it. Always have an out for them. An ability to pause the clock or something like that. Having a clock is actually better because they can pause it when they want a break.
Right.
And giving them agency over time itself is very important.
Okay.
Another thing is, if you're teaching War Machine, and it works for a lot of other things as well, using the card of the active model, placing it on the table and using it as a reference is really important because that gives them two things. One, it gives them an association between model and card.
Yep.
And second, it gives them a physical representation of the card. And then when they're, this sounds bad, when they are mimicking you, when they're doing the monkey see, monkey do thing, they will also place their card out.
Okay.
So it gives them an easy way to communicate that this is the model that they want to move without having them to say anything.
Yep. I'm also going to jump in and say what you're describing is two things. Physically, it's that monkey see, monkey do thing. When they do it verbally, it's called echolalia. And just note for people that if you meet someone with echolalia, it's not usually a conscious thing. It's them, like, they don't understand what they're repeating in a lot of cases. It's simple. It's like a verbal tick, and they just parrot back what you say. So the only thing that George didn't touch on that I had was, and I agree with everything you said. The other thing is breaking things down to steps and like really clearly defined steps. And this goes for teaching children, especially with autism, anything. You try to teach a kid with autism how to make PB&J, and one of your steps is put peanut butter on bread, and the child will literally pick up the jar of peanut butter and put it on the bread.
Yeah. You're not breaking it down deep enough.
Yeah.
So that's having, like, especially with pictures, having a checklist of things, and I'm going to start doing this for myself, doing things like, you know, look at the board, like, enter maintenance phase, look at the board, apparition, and like actually set out those and have them and build it based on whatever army they're playing, obviously, and try to get that concise series of steps, right? And make sure that, like, the steps that all have to happen in a certain order happen in that certain order.
Yeah.
And that's the way that through that repetition, they're going to start understanding how the game is played.
Yeah. A big helpful thing that I've always done is Post-it notes. Using Post-it notes, you can, like, you have a bunch of Post-it notes that have numbers on them, and then you can put, you know, 1 on the stack of focus, like 1 next to the stack of focus, 2 next to the upkeep, 3 next to this, and then they can walk through each step. It's actually one of the things I did while learning the game because I am bad at this. So
I should probably do the same thing.
It's not
really
obviously
useful.
not limited. But I think that, like, the minutia that you can break it down, that sometimes it needs to be broken down to for someone with autism is more than people expect.
A good resource for everybody, looking for that type of breakdown, most people probably don't know about it. It's the appendix in the back of your War Machine rules book.
Yeah.
It has an incredibly detailed breakdown of every War Machine turn, including when damage is assigned, what damage step it is, when is something destroyed, boxed, removed. Stuff like that can be really helpful to have. And a lot of people, you say it's in the appendix, and they go, the what now?
Yep.
Yeah. Did you have anything you wanted to add in as a closing kind of, Zane? Any?
Just be understanding, right? Yeah. Like, we are awesome. Oh, actually, there was one other strategy, which is just pre-plan, right? You're going to a convention, make sure they know dice is here, sign-ups here, dice is here, food is now, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's also something that can kind of help those transition moves.
Yeah, for the tournament organizer or the event organizer to have a specific setup.
Or whoever's driving them. Just tell them, like, okay, we're gonna leave here, we're gonna get there here.
Yeah, just so they're aware.
Yeah, and also try to pre-prep them for changes. Like, hey, they're cutting masters early so we can all go get dinner. I'm telling you like an hour ahead of time so you know when it happens.
Right.
And that's a big thing for getting them through transitions. Yeah. Just closing thoughts. Thanks, everyone, for making this such a great community for me. I really hope that we can continue to grow the community and keep it and make it a better place for people with autism and stuff, because I think that games like this, like D&D, which I used as a kid, are great ways to implement social skills training for children with autism. I'm considering writing my thesis on it, so I think
really
that
good
it's
idea, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great. I think that's the reason why I was trying to get this segment, was I really wanted to look at this and try to make this community even better at helping people with autism.
Yeah, it's a great idea for a segment.
Accepting them.
And honestly, I wish we had more time to delve into it. We could probably, we could bring it back at some point. It would be good to.
Apparently, Ron Lore had his appendix removed. Now he has no idea what end step is.
Good God, Ron Lore. No, I think it's a fantastic topic, and I definitely would like to explore it in a little more depth. Make it maybe the main. Yeah, the main focus for a show. I think it would be a great idea, and we'll definitely have you back on for that.
Thanks very much. I'll try to have my camera ready, or we'll just use Discord. One of the two.
We'll use Discord.
Well, before you go, we have one more thing.
Is the lightning round?
The lightning round!
Oh, God, it's the thing I can't do. Let's go. So the only other thing before we start the lightning round is I just remembered there's a change that's not on the PDF for the exemplars.
Oh.
And it's the change that I expect to get to be totally wrong by the end of this. It's the one that with Harbinger I think is totally over the mark. The Inditer is now 1 point cheaper, and it's no casting. It's no casting, channeling, or upkeeping aura.
Oh,
it went from 5 inches to 8 inches.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So
that's pretty...
the Inditer's insane now.
Yeah. Yep.
So just like that's going to get changed, but I just remembered it's not in the packet and we forgot about it, so I want to put it in here.
Pretty ball busting. All right.
As an aside, I'm really surprised it was that and not the Vanquisher, which is like I play the Inditer right now, and my Vanquishers are lounging in their box. So.
All right, here we go, friends. Lightning round. Question number 1. What is High Exemplar Cyrenia's first name?
We're not allowed to look this up, right?
No.
I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Sarah.
No, it is not Sarah.
Oh God, she's an Idrian? I think Serenity just posted it.
You're not allowed to look at it.
Are we not allowed to look at it?
Nope. Don't look at the chat. You got to just answer.
Okay.
Peter's also wrong.
So you can Michelle?
No, it's actually Damon. Damon. Damon, yeah.
Oh, Serenity had Danon, so it would have been wrong anyway.
Nope, it's a female.
Damon.
Yeah.
Huh.
What is the...
It's an injury name. It makes sense.
Yeah. What is the name of the ability that the Judicator gained in today's CID, and what does it do?
Reliquary. This model gains an additional die on attack and damage rolls. Drop the lowest.
Yep. You
Nice.
got her. Number
It
3.
also that's not true because it didn't gain Reliquary. It had Reliquary. Reliquary just used to be Future Sight.
Yeah. They changed
Okay,
it.
so it just changed. Number 3. What are the Exemplar CID's first week's changes to the Harbinger of Menoth?
She has 28 Warjack point. Yeah, 28 Warjack points. She's command 12.
Okay. Yep, that's right. But I'm going to get you guys to buzz.
Okay.
You need to buzz.
I will buzz.
Make a or a wobble wobble or a...
Can you hear this? Can I just go over my comb in the mic? Is this loud enough?
You could do that, yeah. I don't know if I'll hear it over George, but...
It's true.
Question number 4. The Shrine of the Lawgiver. What is the ranged threat distance on the original shot, not the additional spray, from the player's board edge when deployed at the bottom of turn 1 and with no benefits to the deployment zone?
So you're going
What?
second.
So yeah. So it's 10 plus 8.
I didn't hear any
plus-
buzzes.
I said bois.
Oh, okay. Blah, that's your buzz.
I always said bois. 10. So it's bottom of 1, so 10.
Yep.
Plus 8, so 18.
Yep.
Plus 14-inch range is 32.
You got her. 32.
Which means it's 38 plus base size.
Yeah. Pretty gross. Question number 5. Animag the Doom Feaster's spell Bond of Gristle and Bone grants what benefits?
Blah.
Yes. Zane?
Plus 2 armor and feign death.
You got her.
To a warrior model unit.
Correct. Yes. The number 6. The Manowar Strike Tanker has 3 abilities: dual attack,
Blah.
repairable, and
Blah.
yeah,
Bulldoze.
bulldoze. Correct. Come on, George.
I thought you were asking about the 3 abilities on his gun.
No.
Which is Grievous Runes, Armor Piercing, and Siege Weapon.
Yeah.
Was that the next question?
No. Question number 7. What does the ability Shatter do?
Blah.
George,
It's an extra die against the target that is already frozen.
could you be more specific?
That is stationary?
Correct. Yes. Additional
An
die
additional die of what?
on what roll?
Damage.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, good.
Now, does the stationary have to come from cold damage?
No, it just has to be stationary.
It just has to be a stationary model. So here's the thing: their mace is totally capable of crit freezing something and turning them into a POW 16 weapon master.
Yeah.
Which like people are like, oh, that's bad, and then they realize that Vlad 2 exists, and he gives them like a near 50% chance to crit on every attack.
Or Sorcerer 1 just feats on everything and makes them
Yeah,
weapon master?
right. So like, and Sorcerer 3 has better Scourge that freezes things. Yeah. Like, there is enough stuff in that faction that turns Democore on that I think they're going to be viable.
Yeah. Question number 8. What is the name of Scabrous' melee weapon? Yes, George?
Lawgiver?
Lawgiver, no. Zane, you got a guess, brother?
I know it's some weird, like, circle name that's not actually a word.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a proper noun.
It'll be like the Bane of Arthromochix.
That's just one word.
Frank?
Nope.
What?
Spite?
Give up.
Macerator. I don't know.
It is Avernus.
Avernus. Oh! It's the Dota 2 one.
It is too.
Question number 9. Scar 3 has this spell previously only seen on Thagrosh, Prophet of Everblight.
Blah.
Yes,
Draconic Blessing.
you are correct, sir.
See,
He also has Shipstream, which is my
Shipstream.
favorite nickname for a spell.
I love that.
I was
That's
going
awesome.
to say hideously expensive.
Question number 10. Gristle 2's range weapon, Fellblast, has what rate of fire?
What?
Yes, Zane.
3?
Correct, sir.
Huh.
Good stuff. So we didn't have a minty question tonight because Will is the one who digs those out of the box. So I just threw one together here. After the outbreak of war with Signar and 605 AR, the Protectorate have captured territory alongside the Blundstone Marches and in Lale with their Northern Crusade. This has brought the young theocracy into conflict with what faction? Yes, sir.
Scorn?
Incorrect. Zane?
What?
Yep.
Cador.
Correct.
But
They went to Lael. The Scorn thing was later.
Yeah.
it was just too early. Oh, okay.
Bonus question. Kador had been supplying the Protectorate with what?
What?
Yes.
Cortexes.
And?
Word?
Just straight up weapons.
Yeah, straight up, but like specifically Cortexes.
Yeah. Arms and Warjack Cortexes.
Yeah.
Good job. I think we're going to have to give that one to Zane.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I was surprised that you guys gave me some. I was expecting like actually hard questions about like old. I was expecting something to come out about like this rule in Mark 1.
Oh, God,
I was
no.
really like,
We generally only do one of those.
Yeah, those are the minty fresh questions.
okay.
The first 9 are typically fairly...
I'm not allowed to answer Minty Fresh questions then because I only play in Mark 3, so I don't know what these rules are.
The minty fresh questions are usually just all over the place. So now that I guess that's over, we got to do a little housekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
George, do we have any events coming up locally?
May 12th is the next Out of the Box tournament.
So is the Out of Box series done now? And that's a new...
No. We are on...
Number 7?
Yeah, this would be 7.
Yeah.
And then there's 8 in the final.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
And it's going to be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And that final is going to be so good.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I would be remiss in not mentioning the Battle Reporter, which is back up and running. Feel free to go and report your games, get all that sweet data in.
Yep.
Troll Blood Scrum, I believe, has an episode coming up soon. I don't know if it's tonight. The UK version has kind of taken over, as far as I know. I need to get on Fraser's butt and figure out what's going on there. There, as we kind of mentioned earlier, there's a new Legion podcast called Blightbringers. The first one since Blight Makes Right died back at the end of Mark II. So for the Legion players out there, check them out. They're on Facebook right now. And probably soon we'll be on Muse on Minis and maybe the Moose Machine Network if they're nice. I also want to thank Zane for coming on. Zane, thank you so much, man. It was super fantastic meeting you at the Sioux, and we've been chatting pretty much every day since. You're a great guy, and it was a pleasure to have you on. And thank you for talking about something as personal as you did, and kind of letting other people know that it's okay.
Yeah.
There are ways to have fun, and it's been a great episode, man. Thank you very much.
Yep. If I might interject with some of my, I want to give a shout out. Per the Discord, a new guy just showed up in our meta. I missed him tonight to be here, but I want to give him a shout out because our meta is having a little bit of a hard time getting new people, and so it's awesome when someone just like, hey, I moved into Troy and I have like 6 small armies. I'm coming to play War Machine.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I love when that happens.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very often, but it's nice when it
it's
does.
so good.
New meat.
I want to give a shout out to Battle Driven, of course. I've done it a couple times.
Yep.
They put out an episode yesterday. I was listening to it like all day today, like between classes. Apparently Riker's back for this week's episode.
Yeah, there may be a bit of a video that Zosha put out about Riker.
Which is just...
Oh my god, I cried laughing. It was so funny.
It was so good.
Yeah. Maybe it's something to do with I Will Remember You and plenty of pictures of Haley too.
And young Riker winning stuff with Haley too.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
It's really
good. And then the end is just in the arms of the angels, and there's a picture of Haley too. And her Mark II feet just scrolls up from the bottom.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We've got that on our Facebook page.
I can definitely get it up there for
put it on
sure.
our Facebook page.
Please do. I'll probably relink it to the Discord if I have time. So what other stuff?
You got any
I want to
events
shout
going
out.
on there, buddy?
Sorry.
You got any events going on locally?
Tournaments? I don't know Fabint on the there's a couple places. I think we might be doing a steamroller soon. I'm not sure. I know Fabint has some stuff. I have to check back in with everyone.
Yep.
Our store, as many people have heard from Schwanky, has largely stopped carrying product. So getting local events to happen is a little bit more difficult.
Right.
So we're looking for ways to kind of bolster that.
Yeah.
I do believe they did just start the like Philadelphia version of Baltimore.
Yes. I was talking. Yeah, Liberty Brawl.
Liberty Brawl. So
yeah.
I think that me and Schwanky are planning on doing that circuit at least a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So
jealous.
That's my plan. You should come down and do it.
Yeah. As soon as I get my passport next year.
You still haven't gotten your passport?
I still haven't got my passport.
Like, we could... I have so many relatives down there. We could crash forever. Like,
I know...
really tempting.
I know the next convention I'm planning on going to is Nova. So that's my current plan.
Yep.
So one last thing I want to do is just quickly shout out all the random not War Machine groups I signal boosted this to, because I felt that the topic of social media in gaming and social games and autism was important enough to signal boost.
Yep.
I want to shout out the Hard Leg Joe guys. I know the guy. I'm a Patreon member, so I'm in his Discord. He let me straight up just at the whole Discord to signal boost.
Oh, fantastic!
So thanks, Joe. I want to shout out the Six Alona guys. She's an artist for my favorite RPG show, and that community is amazing. They were super supportive of me coming on and doing this. God, where else did I signal boost to? I think I signal boosted to... Oh, God, I don't have Discord open. I can't check. I signal boosted to a couple other places. There's a bunch of people, and I just want to say, thanks to anyone who came out. I definitely want to talk about this more, and I'm definitely going to try to have this conversation be something that happens in the gaming sphere.
I think that's a great idea, honestly, for sure.
Also, come to the Discord. Hopefully we'll get a link in wherever I put a link. And so you can join the least salty community in War Machine.
Yeah, when I put when I get the post up tomorrow, I'll probably just post an invite link to the Discord.
Yeah. Make sure you get a permanent invite link.
Yes,
the
not a
normal invite links are 24 hours.
Yep.
This is bad.
Exactly.
So yeah, is there anything else I want to talk about? I'm really excited about all the new models. And I'm excited to get to dojo some Legion. Me and Maelstrom can come back to the faction right at the same time.
Yeah,
It'll be great.
That sounds like a plan, man. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, sir.
Are you building Thagrosh 1 with a throne? Because that's my current plan.
Not a throne, no. But that does sound pretty tasty. I like the Chris Orr style list with the three characters.
Fair enough. Okay. Well,
yeah,
I'm gonna
we'll figure something out. Anyway, we are
way over time.
Way killed the death clock this week.
Sorry, guys.
No, well, we started late, and I knew it was a huge topic to try to fit in along with the Menoth CID. So I fully expected us to go overboard tonight, which is fine with me.
I'm sorry. I think I talked about the new caster a little bit too much. I think I could.
I can't. I honestly don't see her changing much, so it's kind of the definitive word. Again, thank you so much, Zane.
Thank you.
Cheers, man. It's been a blast having you. We'll definitely have you back on again. George?
I think it's dice down.
Dice down, my man. As soon as I find that closing button.
Dice down! Moose Machine and This Death Clock Has 60 Minutes is a proud part of the Muse on Minis Network. Podcasts go online every Thursday morning. You can watch the show live every Wednesday night at
Yes,
8 p.m.
if
Eastern
you don't
on
shut
Twitch,
up,
and keep
then
in
you
touch
have
with
to
us
edit.
on
Well,
our
I'm
Facebook
curious
page.
if
Just
we
Google
talk
News
over it
Machine.
now, 'cause-
If you can't find us,
we
you're
do
doing
talk
the
over it.
internet
Oh, okay.
wrong.
Yeah.
So I will just edit this part in. Thanks again, Zane.
Again, thank you. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was a good show.
I'm sorry that